right. Got a Tezzerator list on the left. We got Maverick on the right. Thunder versus Sejeong. And Thunder is going to be playing a Tezzerator list with Thopter Sword in it and a lot of other oddball cards. I know for a fact that he showed up with a card that I'm going to have to look up because I have no idea what it does. And Tezzerator Agent of Bolas. I'm going to refresh my memory here. It's costs blue, black, and 2. Starts on 3 loyalty. The +1 is scry 5, and then reveal an artifact and put it into your hand. The -1 is target artifact becomes a 5/5 artifact creature. And then the -4 is target player loses X life. The controller gains X life, where X is twice the number of artifacts they control. Thunder is going to lead off with Mox Diamond, and I apologize. This centering on the camera is really bad. I apologize. So Chalice on 1 is going to blank. A lot of Sejeong's good starts because he does like to play Ether Vial and he does like to play Mother, despite being a base green deck. I believe Thunder's going to knock himself down to 16 here. And give himself an insurance policy on a second Chalice. Here's a Thalia. And the Thalia is actually quite good against Thunder's deck, so I'm not surprised to see him think about fighting over this. So he's going to remove a Dak Faded to a Force, and Thunder's life total is already getting pretty low, but there's no threat on the table, so he's going to continue ramping up, and he's actually down to just 1 card, so I wouldn't actually be surprised if Sejeong could just start sticking a couple of 2-cost threats, or possibly just a Knight of the Reliquary and kill him here. So Scavenging Ooze resolves. There's 1 creature in the graveyard to eat. Since Thunder's life total is already low, I think he's already on a 4-turn clock. Probably actually only 3. And main deck Kasali Pride Mage is really, really good for Sejeong here. Unless he doesn't have another. He does not have another land. Looks like Thunder will pitch another land in order to get that Mox online. And he's going to knock himself down to 8 to cast a threat here. Alright, that is a very blurry Brea. Sejeong will need to give that a read. I will as well. Let's see. Brea is a white, blue, black, red legendary artifact creature. Note the 2 important things that Sejeong just looked at there, that it is not only legendary, but it is an artifact and will die to Kasali Pride Mage, or will get bounced to Caracas. But when it comes into play, she creates 2 Thopters, and for 2 mana you can sack 2 artifacts and do one of these 3 modes. 3 damage to a player, -4/-4 to a creature, or you gain 5 life. But Thunder had to tap himself out here, so he says before blocks I'm gonna use Kasali Pride Mage to kill Brea. Okay, so he still wanted his Exalted trigger. I mean, I think it's irrelevant because Thunder definitely had to chump there anyway. So Brea was a very, very expensive pair of Thopters there. It's a little unfortunate. Maybe if Thunder had more mana to work with, he could have immediately killed a creature. Thunder land. Sorry, that is extremely glared out. But since he drew a card and it cost 2 mana, I believe that he just cast Baleful Strix and passes the turn back to Sejeong, who found Recruiter of the Guard. I'm not entirely sure what targets he has in here, but it may be Okay. So out comes a Pontiff. Reveals that declines to attack, as he wants to get rid of the Baleful Strix before he uses the Scavenging Ooze to finish out the game. And since Thunder did not slam that card, I do not believe that it is Tez or... Oh. So he found Tezzerator. I don't know why he was thinking. In order to save his Baleful Strix from Orzhov Pontiff, he could minus here. That's what he does. His Thopter is going to die provided the Pontiff gets cast here. But a 5/5 Death Touch is insane. Alright, so this is why Sejeong plays this deck. He's usually winning if he manages to find his knights. Although his mana base this game has been exceedingly bad. It's a little... Yeah, I was gonna say he's probably gonna dig here, but it is a little inviting to just minus again, make some really big artifacts. And he whiffed on the plus. That's unfortunate. I don't know what the odds are on that, but it can't be that good to whiff on that. The Pontiff gets cast here, and he announces the -1/-1, which will kill a Thopter. And I'm sorry for the centering on the camera. I am unable to see the graveyards, and we don't know how large the knight is. Sejeong announces attacks with the Recruiter and the Ooze that are both buffed from the Pontiff this turn. And if he commits a little bit of mana and removes the graveyard, then I believe he can get it so that Scavenging Ooze can trade with the Baleful Strix, which I have to assume that Thunder knows exactly what's going to happen here, but he's obliged to block because the Scavenging Ooze is going to get way too large. The Recruiter is only going to do 2 damage, but Thunder's very low. I think that that's going to take him to 6, and with him at such a low life total, I believe that we're just going to ignore Tezzerator. I mean, as much as possible, although he could very easily just start making a ton of 5/5s. So trades occur there. Thunder's going to go to 6. We're going to get another Tezzerator activation. He has to come up with a blocker for Knight of the Reliquary, and if he whiffs again on a search, then he's dead, so I think he has to turn one of his chalices into a creature. Yeah, that makes sense to me. He's going to play another one, and I think this one will go up. Okay. That is Chalice, Forest, Tundra, Volcanic, and a Dak. So he... Oh, not Chalice? I think I missed that card, but that should be... is that Thopter Foundry, right? Which he can no longer cast. The mana constraints are a little tight. Knight is going to rotate Savannah into This has to be in stage. And without a flyer, Thunder is quite dead to a Merit Lage, which Sejeong is going to move towards because it's hard to get through on the ground now. I wouldn't be surprised to just see a pass. I also wouldn't be surprised to see Wasteland get activated. I mean, it's not the best. I could see Sejeong thinking that the Wasteland is more important for him than it would be to Thunder. But, I mean, the deck is very mana hungry. It's quite possible that you could knock him off of something. We're not attacking here, are we? That doesn't make any sense. Oh, okay. Stoneforge will grab Jite. Huh. Oh, all right. I understand. That's my mistake. The knight is obviously way too large to be unblocked, and it won't die to the chalice. So. Thunder's down to 5. He has ripped yet another underground sea, which isn't all that helpful. If he got super greedy, he could just look at the top of his deck. Go ahead and find a Baleful Strix. Transmute. Oh, you can't grab that. So there's a sword. There's a chalice. I'm really unsure why Sejeong didn't just go ahead and grab the Dark Depths this last turn. I think it's too fancy. Why do we keep trying to attack through? Well, Sejeong reveals that he has 6 cards in hand. Thunder decides on the sword. He's going to go down to 3 to cast the sword. And he finds Thopter Sword. Makes a mana with a diamond, sacks it, gains a life to 4, and now has a sorted up chumper. Because Sejeong had mana troubles this game, and he was sacking lands to Knight, he cannot cast that Jite and equip it. I really would have liked to see him just go for Merit Lage, but I guess with Thopter Sword on his radar, maybe he thought that it was unsafe. I still think it's unsafe to keep trying to slam through with Knight of the Reliquary against Baleful Strix deck, but he did get him pretty close. Thunder's still way on the back foot here. He left 2 mana up, so he could possibly create another 2 Thopters. Getting through on the ground just does not seem likely anymore. So he forces him to make the decision. Not sure what the decision is going to be yet. Got 1 mana. And if we're going to do it once, I don't see why we're not going to do it twice. So move up again. He's recouping his life deficit, which is why he was totally fine slamming it last turn and going all the way down to 3. He had no fear of bolt. There's no fear of anything like that. So the one wearing the sword will block one of the little guys, going to try to kill the Stoneforge Mystic. Good chump with the Knight as well. And okay. Yeah, so no tricks with the sword before damage. Thopter will die, then sack something else, get another Thopter. I don't know what Sejeong's plan here was. Yeah. Lands the Jite. Maybe he just wanted to, I don't know, tie up Thunder's mana so he can't just...
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 26 damage.
Yep, the minus from the Tezzerator is lethal. So Sejeong packs it in. I don't know if he decided that Merit Lage wasn't going to get there earlier in the game, but I thought that he was in a really good position as soon as he had the Kasali Pride Mage just kill that Breya, and Thunder maneuvered himself very carefully out of a totally risky situation, even after very unlucky looks with the +1 on Tezzeret that were very, very poor. Sejeong is going to bring in some -1/-1 effects. Any ways that he has to deal with the graveyard, and any ways that he can deal with artifacts, and probably leave it mostly alone. I think that he's going to respect Chalice and move some of the subpar 1-drops out of his deck. Like, I don't see Mother of Runes being good at all. I also wouldn't be surprised if he takes out a couple of utility lands. Like, I suggested that Merit Lage was his best path to victory at one point in game 1, but against a deck with so many little flyers, I think that it's unreliable at best. And Thunder, I think, will just bring in any creature removal that he has. I just got a whiff of a Engineered Explosives, Damnation. I believe he's looking at an Abyss. I think all of these are just really, really groovy here. If I was him, I think that I would also lighten up on the chalices. I don't think that that's something that really won him that last game. It can certainly shut down a lot of Sejeong's hands, but it's not like he's playing against a Ponder deck. I can't see him getting rid of any fast mana, though, because he does not want to get Wasteland locked.
Usually, you have more lands than they have. But doesn't matter. I just flip the board and then easily turn behind. Yeah, usually against.
Oh, it appears that Thunder's board has some Blood Moons in it, which is hilarious to me for a 4-color deck with so many duels.
With Popo's a bit harder. Played it before. It seems like a decent matchup, but it is.
And from looking at that, I think he's considering moving some number of forces out, which I completely agree with. If you can make some slots there. And actually, Andrew and I were discussing this deck, and we really felt that Thunder couldn't have been running Force of Will tonight because we just could not believe that there were enough blue cards to actually support it in the deck. Looking at it from across the tables, I told my buddy straight up that I felt it was most likely that there were 0 copies of any counterspells in the entire list. I know the Tezzerator normally runs it, but when I looked over and I saw that he was like playing the full 4 copies of Chalice and running Dak and Brea, yes, both of which are blue cards, but are insanely mana constrictive. I just thought maybe he was going to be playing full out Stompy, like no Force of Will, just slam a different 4 mana ridiculous Planeswalker every turn. Sejeong is ready to go here. Never mind, he's not ready to go here. He's on the back foot, and we'll elect to play first. We'll see if we can tie the series up and then get to a game 3 for him. I think that this matchup is completely doable for him. He just stumbled a little bit, I believe, missing land drops like 3 and 4 early in the game when he was already ahead. Just sort of sent him directly to artifact hell there. Alright, let's see. Believe that hand is Volcanic, Signet, Transmute, Artifact, Mox Diamond, etc. And Sejeong will start with a turn 1 play that he couldn't get last game, so Thoughtseize will reveal Chalice. From this hand, I think he has to nab the Transmute artifact. The Mox Diamond it's possible. Depending on the rest of your hand, maybe we could completely ignore the chalices, which I think we're going to have to do because taking 1 here doesn't really make sense. Yeah, nice. Nabs the Mox Diamond, and maybe he has more hand disruption effects coming up because he just wants to keep his turn 1 very slow. Alright, there we go. So now he'll reveal Dak. Based on the pattern before, I think maybe we grab Dimir Signet, but I would lean towards Transmute Artifact. I think we have to nab it. Alright, so the mana is leaving. Thunder draws, plays Mox Diamond, discards his Valk. And so this start from Sejeong was brilliant here. We managed to waste the first land, throw out another waste to threaten another one, get an early threat, and Thoughtseize away the acceleration that the Tezzerator deck really needs. Okay, well it appears that Thunder will never play a land again. I'd have to imagine that Thunder is going to scoop within 2 turns here. Sort of Fire and Ice. Go to discard, get rid of a Chalice, go. And Thunder might actually just be fishing for information here. Or he may no longer care. He doesn't want to see it, which is completely reasonable.
I was thinking that too. If you.
It's a very brutal start. Did
So
Thunder
I
reach for his
see
sideboard? I
that
think he
maybe
just
it's
started
me and then I'm just.
shuffling again, so I think he's going to leave his
But that's kind of like most hands.
setup completely the same. And Sejeong with just a little bit of hand disruption, a little bit of land disruption, and full knowledge of what's in Thunder's hands to sculpt his next couple of turns, really just showed how good the Maverick deck can be, especially on the play. I know Thunder complains sometimes. The Maverick player can start on turn 1 Deathrite, untap, play a turn 2 Thalia, waste your land when you are on the draw, and make you untap with 0 permanents for your turn 2, and be up to a possible 3 mana his next turn with a 2/1 beater, who's making it impossible for you to cast spells. Just seems just quite amazing. Although he doesn't play Caverns, so the Thalia isn't always sticking. That said, we've seen 0 copies of Deathrite Shaman anyway. Thunder also said that he has played a turn 2 Rhea before. I'd like to see how that works out. It costs you 2 Thopters. Oh no, but it also costs you 2 mana, so you can't do it like the same turn. But she could kill quite a few creatures in the format when you untap with her.
Well, not bad.
Thunder, he doesn't seem enthused about the hand, but he's going to keep a bunch of lands, a Mox, a Baleful Strix, and I think that is a Thopter Foundry. The hand is close. I think he'll lead on Baleful Strix to draw a card. Alright, so he'll pass the turn and then see... Okay. Searching with a Vile start. Don't know how good it'll be. Thunder will go to 19. Oh, and that's something to note. He does have basics in this 4-color list, so the Wastelands aren't completely lights out because he's got so much mana from artifact sources. I wonder if that's the only basic, or if he might have a swamp in here. And if he led on the island and he brought Blood Moons in, then yeah, okay. Grabbing the basic swamp here is really nice. This actually allows him to play a Blood Moon if he had it. However, it's not completely lights out for Sejeong because he did start on Aether Vial. It would definitely mess him up.
It was right though.
Chalice in 1, yeah, get your damage, go.
You had the Reality Smasher?
So the Chalice is late to the party here, even though Thunder was on the play. It's unlikely that it will make that much of a difference now. I believe that Sejeong is completely stocked up on ways to destroy artifacts regardless.
The Viridian Corruptor was there just to chump block for 1 turn. And we would have lost her.
Thalia shows up to the party. Sejeong has
I
0
had to kill
basic lands.
previous, but I didn't want to lose 2 pump spells to a Warping Whale or Spatial Contortion. So I just went slow, and then I almost died.
I wonder what Thunder will choose to transmute for.
Take my fire.
So 3 mana for a Foundry. Attacks for 1 because it wasn't going to block anyway. Here comes Mom. And he leaves it on 1, which does make sense because the Chalice is on 1. But he very, very quickly left it, so either he didn't even think about it. So he either forgot it or he had decided previously that he was definitely leaving it there. Can't be sure which yet. Stoneforge here grabs GTA very quickly. That's a really good way of keeping the Thopter Foundry off from taking over the game.
I think I had to use it for something. Right.
But he again missed a land drop, and
Yeah, but
I wouldn't
so
be.
if I had activated
I would be shocked if Thunder didn't waste his Savannah here.
and then I attacked, so you don't
Transmute artifact
get the exalt.
resolves.
I attack one.
Oh, you takesies backsies. Okay, so Thunder will get 1 damage, then he will cast Transmute artifact, and he will sacrifice his Baleful Strix, and that is definitely going to go become a Sword of the Meek. And now I think, yeah, he's going to start making Thopters instead. That 1 mana is more important to him than wasting his opponent, who it no longer matters to him. He did not activate the Vial on 1, so I believe that it was a forgotten counter last turn. So that's unfortunate. He also, now he lacks the mana to equip a GTA on Thalia. And I also have to look up Sword of the Meek. It gives, yeah, it's 1/2. So the Thopter is immune to Thalia's advances, even with the first strike. If he hadn't been so bottlenecked on mana, maybe he could have gotten the GTA equipped first, swing in with the Mom to get the 2 counters, and try to get ahead of it here, but an unending army of 1/1s is already going to be good enough. The one with the sword comes in because now he's got enough life that he doesn't actually have to worry about it. Oh, right, and obviously the blockers, whichever newest Thopter there is, becomes the blocker. His life total is going to continue to climb up. Put another couple of Thopters on the table. That's 2. Stoneforge activates, makes the GTA. See if Sejeong has anything in his hand for the Vial. He does not. He puts it to 3. Looking for Orzhov Pontiff should be fantastic. Probably attacks here with Pro Blue. Thalia connects for 2 damage, makes 2 counters on the GTA. And then for every additional turn in the game, the Tezzerator player will just continue gaining 1 more mana, or 1 more Thopter per mana that he leaves untapped for every turn. Is that Inventor's Fair?
I might do it.
Actually, you guys, you need to. I activate them, right?
Swings for 6. And there's the Pontiff. He found it. Okay, so all the Thopters die. The one wearing the sword is low enough to die to a GTA. However, this is only like a little stopgap measure. He doesn't have a way of dealing with the graveyard yet to take the sword combo offline. He also has not found a copy of Abrupt Decay for
Yes.
the Thopter factory.
I mean, it's okay. Like,
I mean, we have to kill the Foundry, right? Just accept that he'll make a Thopter for every.
you're like,
Shit, right. Dak is really, really good.
for a bind at the end of the turn, critical for an invigorate. Let's hope that
Stealing the man's Jite is actually going to be the nail in the coffin here. The Pontiff was really good. Sejeong was really close, but when you steal a man's Jite, he's going to start machine gunning down Sejeong's little white creatures, and that's going to be it. Sorry to be anticlimactic about it. So the Inventor's Fair gets wasted before it can gain life or be sacrificed. Thunder will create one Thopter. Sejeong will try to surgically extract the sword while it's in the graveyard, but that will get countered by a Chalice on one.
Lock the Stoneforge.
Now the Stoneforge Mystic will die.
Sorry, stop Stoneforge? Yeah, block the Stoneforge.
Stoneforge Mystic will not die,
You attack the Thalia.
that would be sick.
Yeah.
I wouldn't.
but the
even-
Dak will.
I don't think he's playing force.
Okay, so the Dark Depths appears, but there's still a Wasteland on the table
I don't think that he.
that Thunder hasn't even felt necessary to use.
I'll kill by my GTF.
This was a close game up until the point when the Thopter starts getting GT counters.
But the amount of chalices that
One for the Mom, one for the Thalia, and I think that he's going to untap, look at a card, and packet it.